Yeah, I have two questions to Lynn and Helga concerning law. The first question comes up in our organization around Glass-Steagall, and again we have to explain people that it's not that institutions create intention, but intention creates institution. So people always pretend that first we have to make Glass-Steagall, and then we get the intention of a good government. But if you're looking back in history to the period of Roosevelt, it's very clear that there was first an intention to defend the people, and that resulted into Glass-Steagall. My second question, especially to Lynn, came out of a recent conference I visited, and I had a discussion with people around space law. So there's a whole bunch of laws concerning space, and both people I talked to said the biggest problem is that it's mere deductive positive law, and what we actually need is a constitution for space travel. Before we derive laws or make laws, we have to set the common aims for mankind in outer space. And both of the people I talked to said, therefore, we need a new paradigm. So I would especially ask Lynn if he has a couple of points that we have to bring into a constitution for a spacefaring mankind.
Helga's monitoring me. I can hear what I'm saying, but other people can't. I meant it's unfair. All right. No, it's the same thing. There is the question. Here, mankind is living in space. We have all these people who've done work indicating what goes on in space, and we do know that things from space do have impact on people on Earth. But the point is, questions of science are questions of that type, questions which must be answered. Even though you don't have an answer delivered, you must be able to discover a principle. To question anything that is in doubt. That's the essential function of the human mind. I think that we could probably say that the history of culture is based on a system of slavery, that most of mankind were victims of slavery at one time in their background. The Roman Empire is an example of this. And therefore people accept as the popular opinion, as popular knowledge, what every poor fellow knows becomes the standard of judgment. My standard of judgment has never really been that. I've never accepted the idea that because people say this is so, that it's so. That popular opinion says this is so, that it's so. The greatest enemy of mankind has always been popular opinion. The failure to question and challenge what is unknown.
Very briefly, on this question of intention creating institution, I mean, what we face many times is the argument that Glass-Steagall does not belong to the European tradition, that universal banking belongs to the European tradition, and that is actually, a cover for trying to continue this system of looting, stealing, and high-risk speculation, which only makes rich a very small percentage of the population, while it kills a large part of the others. So I think that, we really have to have the whole package. We have to have Glass-Steagall, a return to national currencies, fixed exchange rates, a credit system, the reconstruction of the physical economy as one totality, and all efforts to only take one resin out of this cake and say, we don't like the euro, but we stick to monetarism, or we don't like too big to fail, but we don't like separation of the banks. You should be very, very alarmed because these are all efforts to dilute a ferment which is growing, and therefore I would actually suggest that we discuss now in this period the commitment of this conference to to actually, first of all, discuss a resolution, which Jacques has been just drafting, and it is subject for discussion. You know, it should come out of the discussion process of the conference. But I think we need some plan of action to come out of this crisis and confront all the parliaments in Europe and beyond to do exactly the same thing what Diane described for the United States, that we have an activation of all activists, of people who agree that this civilization is too beautiful to be left to these hyenas, and that we move to get Glass-Steagall introduced, and that we mobilize mayors, city councils, state legislators to put maximum pressure on the national parliaments to indeed create an institution, and that we declare that this is our intention, and that way we resolve this conflict once and for all.